Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First step, retired police officer, wife killed in wrong way crash on Route 101 in Epping. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Reports started to come in around 11:40 Thursday night. Drivers say they saw a car driving the wrong way on 101 in Epping. Moments later, this truck crashed into an oncoming car. State police confirmed the driver is a 31-year-old from Derry.
He was identified as a gentleman by the name of Ryan Kittredge. He was traveling eastbound on the westbound lane when he struck head-on a 2008 Chevy Impala being driven by Mr. John Johnson.
John Johnson was in the car with his wife Heidi, both of New Ipswich. Both died on impact. Johnson was a dedicated officer in Townsend, Massachusetts. He served that community since 1978. The chief of the department posted this message on Facebook. A third vehicle also crashed. The driver of this Ford Focus has minor injuries but will be okay.
Both of those initial vehicles were in the middle of the roadway with very significant damage, and the third vehicle ended up striking the pickup truck.
State police say Kittredge has been flown to Mass General in Boston. While he recovers, an investigation has been started.
It is evident, or it is apparent, that impairment was a contributing factor in this crash.
State police tell us this crash was preventable.
Our message to the public is that we will be out there enforcing DWI, drunk and drugged laws to the best of our ability. In this particular case, I'm not sure there was anything Mr. and Mrs. Johnson could have done to prevent this crash.
Certainly a very sad situation. Right now there's no word on the driver's condition, and troopers do tell us that there's no word on what the charges he could face at this hour. We're live in Epping. Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Red Sox Mookie Betts agree to $20 million deal for 2019, report says. Red Sox and star outfielder Mookie Betts agreed on a record-setting contract on Friday, according to multiple reports. Betts settled with the Red Sox on a $20 million deal for 2019, according to ESPN. UNH steady effectiveness of heading outdoors to treatment substance abuse. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cherry.
What do you hope to accomplish there? I just want to be able to give back. You know, this program that I was in gave me so much.
Reed Weatherholt says growing up, he was your typical fun-loving, outgoing child. When he reached his teens, his journey down a dark path began.
It was a lot of just defiance of what my parents wanted, you know, some behavioral issues tied in with a lot of, you know, substance and alcohol use.
After bouncing around in various rehab programs, his parents enrolled him in outdoor behavioral therapy.
We hiked a couple times a week. There were a lot of team building initiatives.
OBH is the prescriptive use of adventure experiences provided by a mental health professional.
After more than 2 decades of research, Dr. Mike Gass co-authored a study on the impacts of outdoor therapy on youth, programs that take people out of traditional therapy environments and put them in nature with a group of peers.
No one wakes up and says, oh, today I think I'm going to be dysfunctional. There's an orchestrated series of events that happen in a young person's life that lead them towards that. And the idea is we need to supply experiences that leads them and takes them away from that.
Recently, UNH studied 2 groups of troubled adolescents, including those with substance abuse issues. One group received traditional treatment at home in their community. The other was immersed in the wilderness.
Kids who stayed in the community were not doing as well at all, still really acute, still really troubled. Where the kids who had attended OBH programs were doing 3 times as better, had significant gains.
But breaking the cycle of addiction isn't easy or cheap. Outdoor therapy can cost a family upwards of $40,000 for 8 weeks of treatment. But with a completion rate of 90%, advocates say it offsets the long-term costs of traditional therapy.
I do believe it's an effective evidence-based form of treatment. I think, like any residential treatment, it should be funded by insurance.
For Weatherholt and his family, the lasting effects of OVH were priceless. Recently, he completed a hike of the Appalachian Trail.
You can never quit on a bad day, is what I told myself, and thinking and just sitting there was really therapeutic.
Mike Cherry, WMUR, News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Group in New Hampshire hopes to honor father of video games with statue. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
A group in Manchester is raising money to recognize one of the city's most notable inventors. Ralph Baer is considered by many to be the father of the modern video game through the invention of his brown box. Baer lived in Manchester for years and worked at BAE as an engineer. A local organization now trying to raise $60,000 to build a bench with a bronze statue of Baer in Arms Park.
Playing Pong back in the day, that's a great idea.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Former police officer becomes Eagle Scout 35 years after completing project. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
It was a night to honor the highest-ranking scouts in the state. Nearly 200 make up the 2018 class of Eagle Scouts. And there, cheering them on, a man who was supposed to join their ranks 35 years ago. Robert Hildreth from Concord is now blind, but vividly remembers his Eagle Scout project in 1983.
Well, you had to get a certain amount of merit badges, and you had to complete service projects, and then in the end, an Eagle service project.
Bob replaced the street signs in Pittsfield, but missed his Eagle Board of Review because of a car accident. He moved towns, went on to become an Epsom police officer and court security guard, but always dreamed of this moment.
And I know you're proud, but we're all proud of you. Thank you very much.
So welcome to the flock of eagles.
Thank you, sir.
His proud family by his side.
It's amazing. You know, I couldn't be more happier for him. He's been such a role model in my life.
And Bob's family says this comes at a good time in his life when he could really use some uplifting news.
He's on dialysis, and he's in need of a kidney. Every day he's getting stronger and stronger, so this news came at a great time.
Means a lot. Means like I finally got there. It's more than just a participation trophy.
It means Bob Hildreth is now finally an Eagle Scout. In Manchester, Jean Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Okay, and let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how U.S. stock market closed for this Friday evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market for this Friday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red or went down. Your Nasdaq closed in the red or went down. S&P 500 closed in the red or went down. Gold closed in the green or up. Oil closed in the red or went down. Euro/USD closed in the red or went down. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Stocks rise more than 2% for the week. Stocks posted solid weekly gains, but ongoing U.S. government shutdown and worries about the economic slowdown in China pushed shares marginally lower on Friday. House GOP urged Trump not to redirect disaster relief money to fund border wall. Ahead of a potential announcement by President Donald Trump to declare a national emergency and reallocate billions of dollars to pay for the border wall, Republicans representing congressional districts that are still recovering from hurricane say they're opposed to the plan. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with more news reports. Good night, everyone. Bye.